Have you ever looked at a landscape and thought, what makes this a little bit more special? What brings my eye to it? What makes it look more professionally done? And I feel that texture has a huge part to play in what makes a landscape nice. I'm Suzanne, and today we're going to be talking about plants with texture. So picture this, maybe close your eyes, imagine a French landscape. You know, just a French landscape. And your mind will go to boxwood parterres, maybe to cypress columns, and these things are all green but with different textures. And that's kind of the thing that you're going to be building your landscape around. Maybe it's not French, but other components that add into a French landscape are things like crushed granite pathways and smooth gray concrete pottery, and maybe some sculpture that adds a little bit more texture. That is one example of texture. So two other landscapes I'd like you to consider in your mind's eye are a contemporary or modern, which has cool, clean lines, just building around maybe a house or simply just the garden looking a little bit more contemporary. You've got one or two beautiful specimen plants that are just setting off the entire scene. And then maybe for a little balance, some grasses to add a little movement and keep it from being too austere. An English garden, this also brings to mind flowers and beautiful pathways, but it's really important to control something that could easily go into chaos with the textures, putting them each in their specific places and having it look really pleasing and calming to the eye. So choosing a palette of plants for your garden is so important to stick with the same theme, regardless of whether it's French or English or contemporary or natives, but you want to choose these plants based a little bit more on their texture than just on, you know, a flower that might make a difference. So putting something with a shiny green tiny leaf next to a larger, more matte or gray leaf is really going to help them each shine in their own little way in your garden. So with that said, let's look at some plant combinations and we can show you exactly how the different textures and colors can all be created and combined to make your garden look a little bit more special. So this is a great example of tropical look. As you can see, there are a lot of different textures going on here, from the shiny green leaves of this beautiful columnar gardenia to more shininess, but just a different shape of leaf from this caprasma or mirror plant here. And this is really just setting off the big leaves from the variegated ginger. And then of course one of my favorites, asparagus mire, with its incomparable texture that can add to almost any landscape. Next up, this combination of beauties here for native plants. We've got these tall, spiky leaves of the agastaki plant with its beautiful blue blossoms that are just so gorgeous that will attract hummingbirds and butterflies. We've got these low-growing heucheras that are just so clumpy. So I know it sounds funny that clumpy is sort of a texture, but it is. It's a texture in and of itself. And then we have this beautiful ceanothus, which I'm not sure if you can see this, but it has shiny green leaves. This one will grow into a tree form. It is beautiful, and again, the small round leaves contrast with the kind of more ruffled edge of the heuchera and these beautiful pointed leaves of the agastaki. And then my favorite, this grass. Look at this beautiful butalua. It's called platinum blonde, and it has these gorgeous seed heads up top. It's also called eyebrow grass, but this adds movement, it has interest, it is so distinctive from everything else, and it adds a lot of texture. So this is an example of water-wise plants and their different textures. We have some beautiful Leonotas here in the front. Not only are the leaves a sense of texture, but obviously the flowers are as well. These gorgeous, soft, fuzzy orange flowers are so pretty, and a nice contrast to this bay laurel, which is a good dwarf variety. It's called Little Ragu. These leaves are just a super strong leathery green. a slightly ruffled edge. A great contrast to this euphorbia. It's called Ascot Rainbow. This is just a bunch of color that complements this beautiful Leonotis, and then I have this gorgeous white sage. This, with its matte and muted color of a gray-green, will complement all of these plants, and just each one stands out on its own, but they look so great together. So another great example of kind of the proof that water-wise does not have to be kind of boring. These are plants that all go together, all very, very water-wise. Again, we've got this euphorbia. This is a burgundy euphorbia, much like the Ascot Rainbow that I just showed you. Green at the bottom, red at that new growth at the top, and it'll eventually get lime green flowers. So it is spectacular. Next to this fuzzy green of the lamb's ear or stackies. And then we have this fuzzy foliage here of the Coleonema California Gold. These are also complementary to each other, but each plant stands out on its own. And again, I have to always bring in some grass for movement in the garden. Any sort of wind will catch it. And this miscanthus, there are varieties that are very, very small, only about 2 feet tall, up to 6 feet tall. So you can get a really beautiful miscanthus that can fill a lot of space in your garden too. So here's an example of different textures you can use in shade. And I just want to emphasize, you don't have to pick exactly these plants. It's just an example, so maybe find something that you like that kind of approximates this or this or this. But this is strobilanthus. This beautiful, soft, fuzzy leaves, almost a silvery appearance. It reflects light in a really unique way. It complements a larger, shinier leaf of the canna lily. And then to kind of complement everything is this brainia or snowbush with its tiny round leaves, its unique coloring, and it's got a little movement as well. So without really going into a specific garden, I just want to show you some plants with beautiful, beautiful texture. Add them in wherever you like. Use other plants that have gorgeous texture that can just distinguish themselves from the plant next to it. This gorgeous, gorgeous feather grass. Again, I love adding that movement to a garden. Sometimes that's really just what you need to make a garden calming and relaxing. This beautiful mirror plant, Coprosma, with its shiny, shiny green leaves year-round and its unique shape and colors. This plant comes in quite a variety of colors and leaves. And then we've got this matte gray-green of the pineapple guava. This plant you can make into a hedge, you can turn it into a nice big specimen tree. But the leaves here with their matte tops and bottoms, light on the bottom, darker on the top, is so beautiful texturally. And then of course, almost the queen of texture, the princess flower or tibicina. The leaves are again fuzzy and beautiful, large, really, really a special plant to have in your garden to add a lot of gorgeous texture and strength to it. So I hope that helped you with creating some texture in your garden, using big leaves, small leaves, shiny, matte, all different ways to create different looks in your garden, making it a little bit more special. That's it for me. I would like you to go to rogersgardens.com. Look at all of the fascinating things we have there for you. Sign up to our Facebook, our Instagram, and definitely go to YouTube, subscribe, and visit all of the informative videos that we have there, because we want you to succeed in your garden, and we're here to help you.